Let's start with the honest question everyone is quietly asking right now: are we entering another crypto winter? If you've been in crypto for more than one cycle, you already know how this story tends to go. Prices rise fast, excitement explodes, social media becomes euphoric, and suddenly everyone feels like a genius. Then, almost without warning, the mood shifts. Headlines turn negative. Charts look weaker. Influencers sound more cautious. And that word starts floating around again: winter. Here's the truth: crypto has always moved in cycles. Expansion and contraction. Hype and fear. Growth and correction. What we are seeing now isn't something new. It's part of the rhythm of this market. Every major drawdown in the past felt dramatic while it was happening. Every time, people wondered if it was the end. And every time, the market eventually found its footing again. But this time feels different to many people because confidence has softened. Even longtime Bitcoin advocates like Michael Saylor have acknowledged that the market is cooling down again. When voices that once sounded completely fearless begin to speak more cautiously, it signals a shift in sentiment. And sentiment, in crypto, matters a lot. Now here's where things get interesting for Pi Network. While the broader crypto market debates whether we are in another extended winter, something much quieter, and potentially more powerful, is happening behind the scenes. Pi Network is not reacting to price volatility because it is not driven by open market speculation yet. Instead, it is still operating within its enclosed mainnet phase, focusing on something far more foundational: infrastructure, identity verification, and ecosystem development. And this is where smart pioneers start paying attention. When markets slow down, real builders get to work. Historically, the projects that survived and quietly developed during downturns were the ones that exploded when the next bull cycle arrived. During periods of hype, everyone talks. During periods of doubt, only the committed keep building. Right now, Pi Network is in building mode. While other cryptocurrencies are reacting to price charts and liquidity swings, Pi is concentrating on verifying real users, strengthening security systems, and expanding real-world utility. That might not sound flashy. It might not trend on social media. But long-term value is rarely built in loud moments. It's built in quiet ones. At the same time, there are broader economic forces at play. Global discussions about clearer cryptocurrency regulations are advancing in multiple regions. Central banks are adjusting policies as inflation trends evolve. Institutional investors are watching carefully. Capital that once flowed aggressively into risk assets is currently more cautious, but capital doesn't disappear forever. It waits. And when confidence returns, it tends to move quickly. If that wave of renewed confidence aligns with Pi Network's transition into open mainnet, the positioning of early pioneers could become extremely important. This is why experienced investors often say the biggest opportunities appear when sentiment is low. When enthusiasm fades, accumulation becomes less emotional and more strategic. Instead of chasing hype, participants focus on preparation. Inside Pi Network, that preparation is becoming more sophisticated. Mining daily is still important. Consistency still matters. But the ecosystem has evolved beyond simply tapping a button once every 24 hours. Validation and identity verification are becoming central pillars of the network's progress. For Pi Network to open fully to the world, it must ensure that its user base consists of real, verified individuals. That means large-scale KYC verification is not just a feature, it's a gateway. It separates speculation from structure. Validators play a crucial role in this process. Once a pioneer completes KYC verification, they can apply to become a validator. Validators review identity submissions from other users, helping confirm that accounts represent real people rather than bots or duplicate identities. Every accurate validation contributes to the network's overall integrity. And here's the shift in mindset: this transforms pioneers from passive participants into active contributors. Instead of only mining, validators help secure the ecosystem. The reward system reflects this responsibility. Validation rewards are not static. They depend on accuracy, reliability, and network demand. If fewer validators are available, opportunities can increase. If many validators are active, rewards are distributed accordingly. The system prioritizes consistency and precision over speed. The network compares validator decisions against the majority. If your assessments consistently align with accurate outcomes, your credibility strengthens. If you rush or make careless errors, your effectiveness, and potentially your validator status, can decline. This design encourages thoughtful participation rather than volume-based activity. All of this ties into one central milestone, the eventual launch of Open Mainnet. Until there are enough verified real users and a stable ecosystem of applications, the network remains enclosed. That's intentional. Security and legitimacy matter more than speed. Rushing to open without sufficient validation would introduce risks that could damage long-term trust. Another important point many people misunderstand is pricing. Any numbers you see online right now are speculative because Pi is not freely tradable on an open exchange. True market value can only be established when supply and demand interact in an open environment. Until then, discussions about exact price projections are hypothetical. That's why many long-term participants focus on accumulation rather than speculation. Validation rewards are distributed after accuracy checks are completed, and all Pi remains locked until Open Mainnet. This requires patience. But if you look at the history of major crypto projects, early participants who remained active during uncertain periods were often the ones who benefited most when networks matured. So what should you be doing during this quieter phase? First, ensure your KYC verification is complete. Without it, your ability to fully participate in the ecosystem remains limited. Second, if eligible, consider applying to become a validator. Approach the process carefully and prioritize accuracy. Third, continue daily mining consistently. Small actions compound over time. Finally, stay informed. Updates, new tools, and ecosystem developments often appear gradually rather than dramatically. The broader crypto market may currently feel cautious. Conversations may revolve around downturns and recovery timelines. But inside Pi Network, progress is measured differently. Instead of reacting to short-term volatility, the focus remains on building a digital economy rooted in real identity and practical utility. Millions of pioneers across different countries are participating in this process. The goal is not simply to trade a token. The goal is to establish a system where digital currency can function in everyday exchanges, goods, services, local businesses, and online platforms. Whether we label this moment as a winter or a transition phase, one principle remains consistent in crypto history: cycles reward preparation. When enthusiasm eventually returns, and historically, it always has, the individuals who stayed informed, verified, and active are the ones positioned to move forward confidently. The ones who disengage entirely during slow periods often find themselves trying to catch up later. So instead of focusing only on whether we are in a winter, consider a different question: what are you building during this season? Because seasons change. Markets evolve. Sentiment rotates. But preparation done quietly today can shape outcomes tomorrow. If you're committed to the long-term vision of Pi Network, this phase isn't a reason for fear. It's a moment for positioning. Stay consistent. Stay patient. Stay informed. And when the doors to Open Mainnet finally unlock, you'll be ready, not scrambling, not guessing, but prepared for whatever the next cycle brings.